Ever wish you could walk around inside of the Brady Bunch house? Then you've come to the right place. The Bradys are gone for the day, so we get the whole place to ourselves. Let's get going. Hi, I'm Marina Coates from Mockingbird Lane. Welcome to Behind the Scenes, where we get up close and personal with all your favorite TV and movie homes. On today's episode, part 2 of the Brady Bunch home, we'll be going to the kitchen, the laundry room, Alice's bedroom, the family room, and even tour the outside. Let's begin. The first place we're going to head to is the kitchen. When I say Brady Bunch house, what pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's probably the kitchen and all of its orangeness. Just for fun, before we start touring the kitchen, I wanted to see how the kitchen would look if the Bradys hadn't chosen the orange color we all remember so well for their kitchen back then. So I took their kitchen and replaced all of the orange with another color that was popular back then, Harvest Gold. Feels like a different house without all that tangerine. Not quite the Brady house we remember. We all remember the kitchen table, and unlike the dining room, there wasn't enough room for all of them to sit around it. So we either saw the kids sitting there or the parents, but never the whole family. Here's a little piece of trivia for you. At one point, Mike Brady had a pair of pajamas that actually matched the coffee pot on that table. Now let's find out a little bit more about that table. This type of table is called a tulip table, and they still make similar models today. We saw a lot of views of this kitchen table, but we never got to see one like this, with the sliding door behind it. From this view, we can see behind the kitchen island too, another view we never got to see on the show. I wonder if they even bothered finishing the cabinetry back there on the island, since it would never be seen even once on the show. Now let's take a little walk back around behind the island and get a feel for what it would be like if you were there cooking in the Brady kitchen. We saw Alice here at the island often cooking. Did you ever notice that she even cooked for the family when they went camping? Not fair. I've heard people wonder what all Carol did since she didn't have a job, but we do often see her cooking right alongside Alice and doing dishes. Speaking of which, why didn't they have a dishwasher? They were common back then, and their home is so modern for those times. It's a head scratcher. Why no dishwasher? One cool element in the Brady kitchen was this often seen but never used indoor grill. There was a similar one on Bewitched, an indoor brick oven, also never used, but sure cool to look at. One time we got to see inside of the cupboards when they put groceries away. I was curious what all they'd have in there for a family with 6 kids. The thing that caught my eye was those ginormous industrial-sized cans of tomato sauce. Even with a large family, I doubt they could use something that huge. Okay, I have a question for all of you Brady fans, and it's a tough one. Where in the kitchen did they keep their spare cash? The answer is found in an episode where Alice needs to pay the grocery delivery boy. She grabs a 10 out of this canister. Before we go on to the rest of the home, I wanted to see how the Bradys might be living today. On my website, mockingbirdlane.design, I take TV and movie homes and show 3D renderings of them, but then I update them because the reason I do that is I like to see how that family might be living today. Now, I knew that Mike Brady was an architect, and one thing I know about architects is that they love to explore all the latest materials that have just come out, in metals, tiles, stone, whatever it is. So I knew he'd probably have some fun playing with that. And Carol, she's of the latest fashion. She has a fun personality. She'd want to try new things. So I felt like they would have updated their home. They wouldn't have left it in the 60s and 70s. Here's my take on how the Brady's kitchen might look today. I kept some fun elements in that remind us of the 70s, but an updated version. Like the Backsplash tile, it has daisies in it. And I put rattan on the backs of the stools. I kept the same layout for them, but this time though they have a dishwasher back there. Now back to the 70s. Let's have a little spin around the kitchen before we head on to the next room. Now let's go check out Alice's room, which is back by the laundry room. The laundry room showed up in different configurations throughout the series, and they simply just can't all coexist, so I had to choose one. But even then, we were never shown the whole room from all angles, so here's one version that could have been possible. Now let's head into Alice's room. We didn't get to see much of Alice's room. We do get to see what's outside of her door, and that helped me position it with the laundry room. I like that her room gave us a little glimpse into her personal life. We see she's reading a book called All My Loves, and we see some photos she's tucked into her dresser mirror. We really didn't get to know much of her outside of her role as housekeeper, so these things are fun to see. I added two things to Alice's room that were never shown, a window and a bathroom. I'm sure she would have both, and she certainly deserved them. Let's have a look around her room now. I had a little fun with Alice's room. You probably saw the book on her bed, All My Loves, but I also tucked in some pictures in her dresser. One is a photo from her time on Bob Cummings' show before she starred on the Brady Bunch, and the other is her cousin Emma from the show, which was also played by Ann B. Davis. Ann had an identical twin sister, Harriet, in real life. It would have been fun to have her play cousin Emma, but she wasn't an actress. And then, of course, there was the photo of Sam and Alice. And now on from Alice's room and into the family room. They had a TV in both the living room and the family room. It normally set up against this wall, but they'd pull it out when they wanted to watch. They did that on a lot of shows like Dick Van Dyke, in both their living room and their bedroom, and on I Love Lucy. We rarely see the TV in the Brady's family room unless they need it in the scene, and then they pull it out from the wall. What all do they do in the family room other than watch TV? Well, among other things, listen to records, practice karate, needlepoint, handstands, play checkers, do puzzles, hem dresses. Where did that giant mirror all of a sudden come from? Practice sculpting, wrap presents, and notice for this one, for some reason they put up a folding table rather than using the game table. And the family room was often where they would gather the kids to have a family discussion. It was a great home for a large family with two large living areas. And did you notice they have 3 tables right in a row? The dining room table, the kitchen table, and the games table in the family room. And if you want to count it, a 4th table right outside the patio doors. Let's have a good last look around before we go outside. Did you notice anything unusual in this little tour of the family room? Did you spy the payphone in the corner? That came from the episode in season 1 called Sorry, Right Number, when Mike installed a payphone in the family room after he gets a huge phone bill, but it didn't last long. Now let's explore the backyard. Before we begin, let's look at it from the outside into the house. Here's a curious thing. Look at the different sizes of the sliding doors. 2 are large ones with 3 panels, but the one to the family room is smaller with only 2 panels. Why, I wonder? I'm just curious. It was a small backyard, but they sure got a lot done back there. Here are just some of the events that took place in the backyard. They built a lot of stuff. They made a water dunking machine, painted a boat, built elaborate props for a play, aired out their sleeping bags, had potato sack races, left Cindy hanging, made props and filmed a Thanksgiving play, helped Alice confront her seasickness. They practiced cheers, learned a golf swing. At one point we even got to meet their neighbor Mr. Dittmeyer when Carol was practicing casting a fishing line and accidentally reeled him in. They waxed surfboards, worked out, played football, and that's only the beginning, but I had to stop somewhere. They did a lot more back there. They had a really cool structure in the backyard that we rarely got to see them use, if ever. It was kind of a combination between a stage and a pergola. And then, of course, there was the large open carport with shelving, a couple little storage units in the back, and room for their car, which was seldom parked there. Instead, it was used for other things most of the time. Okay, now I'm going to take you on a tour of the backyard, and I want you to be looking for 5 Easter eggs I planted, little items from the episodes. See if you can find all of them, and at the end I'll give you the answers. Did you see all of them? They were: number 1, the volcano on the patio table. This is from the episode where Peter makes a volcano in the backyard and then accidentally sprays all of Marcia's friends when it erupts. Number 2, the football on the ground. Reminds us of the episode when the boys were playing football in the backyard and it ends up hitting Marcia in the nose, and you know the rest. Number 3, Kitty Carryall in the doghouse. From season 1, Kitty Carryall is missing. They end up discovering the doll in Tiger's doghouse. Number 4, the traffic cone in the garage. From season 5, when Greg and Marcia have a contest of driving skills. And number 5, my favorite, the portrait of the Brady kids in the carport. This is from the episode when Jan decides to go without her glasses and crashes her bike into the framed picture of the kids, a gift for their mom. But I updated it with a present-day photo of the cast when they gathered together recently. A little time warp. I hope you enjoyed today's tour of the Brady Bunch home. On our next episode of Behind the Scenes, it will be part 3 of the Brady Bunch home. We'll be going upstairs and visiting the master bedroom, the boys' room, the girls' room, their shared bathroom, and then we'll even tiptoe upstairs and see Greg's groovy attic bedroom. You won't want to miss it, so come on back. To find out where you can find similar items for your home for some of the things you've seen in the Brady Bunch house today, check out this page on my website called Where Can I Find Something Like That? I'll include a link below. If you like what you're seeing today and you don't want to miss an episode, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. And if you really liked seeing the design of today's home, the Brady Bunch home, I think you might like the other show I have on this channel. It's called Cinematically Inspired Design, and what we do there is we explore the design secrets from the cinema that make us fall in love with those movie homes, and we learn how to bring those principles into our own homes. There's a reason you fall in love with movie homes. Come find out why. But as for today, that's all. See you next time on Behind the Scenes.